Good evening, Malawi, and good morning to anyone watching from the diaspora. The nation has just witnessed one of the most charged political moments in recent memory. ZODABWITSA ZOMWE Brian Banda wafusa. That phrase alone has set off political fireworks from Blantyre to Lilongwe. Because when Brian Banda speaks, everyone listens. And this time, he's asking the toughest questions yet, directed straight at Malawi's political giants. Peter Mutharika, Bakili Muluzi, Joyce Banda, and Michael Usi. From accusations to accountability, from legacy to leadership, this isn't just another political headline, it's a full-blown reckoning with Malawi's past, present, and future. In today's report, we break it all down. 10 critical facts behind the controversy, each one revealing a piece of a much bigger puzzle. Expect insights, expect perspective, and yes, expect a bit of sharp humor. Because when politics turns into theater, someone has to narrate the show. Let's begin. ZODABWITSA ZOMWE, the big ask. Picture this. A man who's been to the mountaintop, walked away, and then, surprise, comes back wearing the same crown. That's Peter Mutharika for you. After years away from the front line, the former president of Malawi has staged what can only be called a political resurrection. Backed by the Democratic Progressive Party, the DPP, he re-entered the ring claiming he has the formula to fix Malawi's economic pain. But his return wasn't just about nostalgia, it was strategy. With inflation high and confidence low, Mutharika's message of stability hit the right nerves. His calm tone, any problem created by humans can also be solved by humans, sounded both reassuring and philosophical. In short, the DPP is banking on experience over experimentation. But if Peter is the comeback king, who's the man shaking the ground beneath him? Enter the name everyone's been whispering, Brian Banda.
Brian Banda is not here to play nice. The seasoned journalist turned political voice has become Malawi's most fearless questioner. During his recent public engagement, he did what many wouldn't dare, calling out the former and current leaders to justify their records. His words? Sharp. His tone? Electric. He didn't mince them either. Malawi deserves answers. And suddenly, silence fell across the usual political noise. Banda's courage isn't in shouting. It's in cutting through the fluff. He's asking, why are prices soaring? Who mismanaged the economy? And where are the accountability mechanisms that once sounded so strong in speeches but never showed up in action? In a country where many fear speaking truth to power, Banda's voice rings loud. And that's when things got even spicier, because if Brian's the spark, the next two former presidents are the gasoline. Once the giants of the Malawian stage, Bakili Muluzi and Joyce Banda have stepped back into the limelight. Both carry legacies and controversies. Muluzi, the founding figure of the UDF, symbolized Malawi's shift into multi-party democracy. Joyce Banda, Malawi's first female president, once promised a people-first government. Now, years later, both are vocal again, weighing in on the state of governance, corruption, and national direction. Zadbuya zonze zimakala anitin tawiyake, as the elders say. Every good thing has its season. But the question is, are they here to mentor or to maneuver? Political analysts note that their reemergence could reshape alliances, especially if they align with or against the DPP. Either way, the veterans aren't leaving quietly. But if the old guard is returning, there's one man shaking up the storyline. A performer turned politician who believes politics can be done differently. You might know him as Manganya, the entertainer. But today, Dr. Michael Usi, the newly active political figure, is turning scripts into strategy. Stepping in after the tragic passing of Saulos Chilima, Usi's entry into leadership discussions has been nothing short of compelling. He brings creativity, empathy, and a grounded message. Development must start from the village upward. That's powerful. Zimenetso nso ona. He may not be seeking the top job yet, but his influence is clear. He speaks the language of the people, both literally and emotionally. Political insiders say he represents the next wave, leadership that blends intelligence with humility. If Malawi's politics were a movie, Usi's role is the quiet underdog, the one who ends up redefining the plot. And that leads us straight to the party holding all these ambitions together, the DPP, which is either on the verge of revival or collapse. The Democratic Progressive Party wants to find governance in Malawi. Founded by Bilingual Mutharika, it carried the banner of prosperity and progress. But today, it's a party at a crossroads. The DPP claims to be reborn, promising anti-corruption reforms, a stronger economy, and an accountable leadership team under Peter Mutharika's renewed command. However, skeptics aren't convinced. Critics argue the DPP must do more than issue statements. It must rebuild trust. The people want transparency, not nostalgia. Kalidwe la tipani chimenetso ziwoneka mtito osati mawo oka. The character of the party must show in its actions, not just words. The next months will tell whether DPP can evolve or fall back into old habits. Because from here, things only get hotter. We're moving into the flashpoints, the real pressure zones shaping Malawi's destiny. Buckle up, because what comes next may just decide who wins the heart of the nation.
In every democracy, memory is power, and Malawi is being tested on how well it remembers. Brian Banda's challenge isn't just a headline, it's a mirror. He's asking the former presidents what really happened to public funds, unfulfilled promises, and forgotten projects. Many Malawians are now demanding umboni weni weni, real evidence, not poetic speeches. Former officials defend themselves with practiced calm, promising audits and committees. Yet citizens whisper, Kodi adzabwezera chiani kwa antu. What will they return to the people? The battle between accountability and selective memory has officially begun. This is where Mutharika's statement, any problem created by humans can be solved by humans, faces its toughest test. Can past leaders solve the problems they helped create? Because while politicians debate history, another kind of battle is forming, the alliances that could shape tomorrow's government. If Malawian politics had a soundtrack, it would be a remix of Shake It Up. Alliances form, dissolve, and reform faster than anyone can keep count. The DPP's courtship with UDF veterans, whispers of cooperation between Joyce Banda's network and reformist voices, and quiet meetings with Usi's camp, it's all happening in the shadows. Analysts say this is the roulette season, where every handshake hides both a promise and a threat. Mbale lero, mdani mawa, your brother today, your rival tomorrow. The stakes are enormous. Whoever controls the alliance map controls parliament, policy, and potentially the presidency. But there's a catch. Malawians are watching. Social media is documenting every political dance, every switch of tone. In a digital age, betrayal goes viral in seconds. And while the veterans play chess, the youth are building a whole new board. Forget the days when politics belonged to gray suits and long speeches. Malawians' youth have found their rhythm, zaka zama social media. They're tweeting, marching, podcasting, and demanding what they call politics ya umwe ali inditsogolo, politics of those who actually have a future. They're questioning every promise, laughing at propaganda, and using satire to expose hypocrisy. In urban centers from Lilongwe to Zomba, youth movements are organizing civic debates and fact-checking leaders live. Brian Banda's fearless questioning resonates deeply here. It's the language of accountability they understand. If this generation shows up at the ballot in full force, the numbers could rewrite Malawi's political DNA. But even passion can't fill an empty stomach, and that brings us to the harshest truth of them all, the economy. Malawi's economy is running hot, and not in a good way. Prices are climbing, fuel is scarce, and ordinary families are stretching every kwacha. President Mutharika promised immediate action on food, fuel, and fertilizer, calling it the first rescue plan. But people want results, not rhetoric. Economists like Chief Mwango point to high government spending, weak fiscal discipline, and overdependence on imports. He says, Tikuya nera kupanga zinto zato toka. We must produce our own things. From tomatoes to cereals, Malawi imports what it could easily grow. The DPP's credibility now depends on economic proof, stable markets, lower interest rates, real jobs.
Otherwise, slogans like prosperity for all risk sounding like recycled jingles from past campaigns. Because when an economy trembles, the institutions that hold the country together must stand stronger than ever before. Every democracy survives on one condition: its institutions must work. Malawi's courts, media, and election bodies have earned respect globally for managing peaceful transitions. But pressure is mounting. Political interference, underfunding, and social polarization threaten to weaken those foundations. UN observers praise the 2025 transition as a model for Africa, but also warn that unity without integrity is fragile. Zonadi Zamino. If the judiciary bends or the media bows, democracy doesn't collapse overnight. It erodes slowly, quietly. Reformers are now calling for new protection laws for journalists and judicial independence clauses, because no matter who holds power, DPP, UTM, or any alliance, the referee must remain neutral. And that brings us to the big picture, what all these stories really mean for the heart of Malawi. So here's where we stand, Malawi. The ZODABWITSA ZOMWE Brian Banda wafusa are not just questions to leaders, they're questions to every citizen. Are we paying attention? Are we demanding truth? Because democracy isn't a spectator sport, it's a team game. From Mutharika's comeback to Banda's boldness, from Muluzi's wisdom to Usi's creativity, one truth shines. Malawi is alive with political conversation. Tiani tu chichita zintu moyo wenera. Let's do things right. Because as Vice President Usi once said, mindset change is the first step to national change. At Global Pulse News, we'll keep tracking every twist, every alliance, every reform. So if you believe informed citizens build stronger nations, click that subscribe button, ring the bell, and join the movement. Tikukunda tsikolatu. Koma tizafunsa mafunso. We love our country, but we'll keep asking questions. This is Global Pulse News. Your voice, your vision, your vigilance. Until next time, Tili Limoji, mucho wanera.